Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Friday to everyone. Time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialists. So, kind of quiet inside the shop today, but lots going on out here, including that showing up. So this is our latest mini project. I will come back to that towards the end of the video. Since I'm standing here next to the green Ghia, why don't we just go ahead and start on this. So just more polishing going on here. I think our guy that's polishing this, is done now with back here as far as going through all the various stages of compound and then buffing. I don't even know what it's called, paste, I guess, whatever. But yeah, I think this is all buffed out now. I think he said he might go over it by hand a little bit, but this is pretty much it. And we are pretty happy with how it's come out. Let's take a look at the front, because I think the front, so the front, you can see it's just not quite as shiny. So this, I think, so far is only polishing compound. It's not really like buffed out and stuff like the back. So still looks amazing, but then this is what it's going to look like when when he's gone through all the various stages. So yeah, it's getting there. Should be pretty soon that this is done. And then of course we still need to paint the doors and the lids, and then of course those will be buffed and everything too. But yeah, this is coming right along, guys. Very happy with this paint job. And the color, I'm totally in love with this color. I really would like to paint a car this color of my own, but that's not going to happen. So I will live vicariously through my customer and her beautiful green Ghia. So that was happening today, and the tan 67 Beetle is pretty much done. Rene, I'll try and show it tomorrow on tomorrow's video. Rene was doing some polishing on it. Actually, the owner asked if we could bring her paint out a little bit, and yeah, it looks a lot better. It's a big difference. I will try and show that on tomorrow's video. It's around the corner here right now, so I'm not going to wander over there and show it. But yeah, it really came out good. And I did take that car to again, I'm talking about the Savannah Beige 67. Took it for a drive today. It runs amazing. That little 1600 dual port is a very strong little motor, especially now that I did a tune-up on it. I set the points gap correctly. It was way off. Replaced the points, which were pretty trashy. Replaced the cap, the rotor, the wires, the plugs. All that ignition stuff was just in pretty poor shape and adjusted very poorly. And so, yeah, with basically all new ignition components and a proper tune, it runs really good now, guys. That car, I mentioned before, I drove it during the pre-purchase inspection I helped her out with, and it ran really good. But now it's like night and day, really. So very excited for her to get that car back. I think she's probably going to take it tomorrow. So, but I will try and show it on the video one last time to go over what all we did. Anyway, so as far as what else I worked on today, other than the Savannah Beige, which again I took for a test drive and adjusted the carburetor a little bit, stuff like that. I did pretty much finish up the engine compartment today on this beautiful 56 Beetle here. So you can see it's got the new firewall mat in it. It's got new engine to body seals in it. And I finished cleaning up the wiring here with the proper color wire. Again, I told you guys I was OCD, was not kidding here. Even though the wire for the most part is covered with tubing, still wanted this last little couple inches here that stick out to be the right color. Hard to tell with the light here, but it's gray with a red stripe. Anyway, so yeah, those little last details. And yeah, like I mentioned, I spent quite a bit of time on the channels for the engine to body seals, and so the seals went in really, really easily. Because again, as I always like to say, the more time you spend straightening those channels out and make sure they're open the right amount and stuff like that, the easier the seal goes in. So time well spent, because that seal went in super, super easy. The other thing I did on this car, which was much bigger job than putting in the engine compartment seal was I did go ahead and replace the transmission mounts, so the nose cone mount and the mounts at the rear cradle. So kind of a pain. You can do it without pulling the transmission out all the way, but obviously you disconnect all the hardware from all the mounts, so up here and then up at the nose cone. And then you pretty much have to disconnect the axles from the spring plates to be able to slide the transmission back enough to get the nose cone mount out. So yeah, that was pretty much it for that. It's kind of a big job, but I don't know, it took me a couple hours, maybe something like that. But yeah, anyway, so the mounts were okay. None of them were tore or anything, but again, I figured while I was in there, they did look pretty old though. So I figured, you know what, while I'm in here, the motor's out, let's just do that. And then the other thing, which I think I mentioned before, was the Bowden tube on here was completely straight. There was no bow in the Bowden tube. And so I'm pretty sure that was the cause of the shuddering that the car would have when you would particularly go in reverse. I didn't notice it so much in forward gears, but trying to go in reverse, it was really bad. Like it felt like the car was going to tear itself apart. And so the only reason for that I see is that the Bowden tube was totally straight. And again, probably with those, the mounts, even though they weren't tore or separated or anything, I'm guessing they were probably pretty soft, just due to their age. And so I would think that soft motor mounts would probably let the transmission, kind of move more when you start, easing the clutch out than say newer stiff transmissions. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that the mounts being old, although not, broken or anything per se, probably was sort of exacerbating the fact that the Bowden tube didn't have any slack in it or any curve like they're supposed to have. So anyway, took care of all that stuff. I think it's going to be great now. And yeah, so that was that. And I'm very happy with how this engine compartment's coming out. And once we get this motor all back together and in there, I think it's going to look amazing. Still need to haul off all this stuff to powder coating and ceramic coating and all that good stuff. And so that's pretty much it for this one. So why don't we talk a little bit about the new, I guess, mini project here that came in. So this is a 65 Volkswagen Notchback. So if those of you who may not be super familiar with these cars, the Notchbacks were never actually sold in the United States. They were sold in Canada. I'm sure they were sold in Mexico and, lots of other parts of the world. I don't know why they were never imported into the U.S. I guess, I don't know. I'm assuming maybe Volkswagen just didn't think that the market was big enough for them. Although they sold the siblings of the Notchback. So the Squareback, which is of course the one that looks like a station wagon essentially, and then the Fastback, the one where this kind of slopes all the way back like that. You guys are probably familiar with those. Yeah, I don't really know why they didn't sell these here, but they didn't. Anyway, so this one belongs to a friend of mine who actually is one of the owners of Fiber Steel, if you guys have ever heard of them. So Fiber Steel specializes in making parts for original and recreation 356s and Spiders and stuff like that. And they do really, really great work. Their product's super nice. And I've got a few things on my red car, the race car of theirs. And but anyway, so yeah, Nick, who's the son, his owner Russ started the business, and now they both work there. Anyway, he bought this car, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. And like me being a small business owner, he just has not had time to work on it and just really wants to get the car roadworthy. And so that's pretty much what it came in for. He's been asking me for a really long time, and I feel bad. I kept kind of like putting him off, but finally I said, you know what, Nick, bring your car. Let me get to this thing. So couple issues. One is that it would start and it would kind of idle, not great. but then the second you would try and touch the gas, it would kind of start revving and then just die. So kind of seemed like a fuel issue. So started playing around with the carburetors and starting it, and manually priming the carburetors, and pretty much confirmed almost right away that it did seem to be a carburetor issue. So looking down through the tops of the carburetors, one thing that I noticed, which carburetors are not on here right now, but just to show you guys here. So one thing that I noticed pretty much right away was that the left carburetor, the accelerator pump circuit was not working. So the right side it would squirt a little gas, but the left side wasn't working at all. So no accelerator pump squirt. So that definitely wasn't helping as far as being able to rev the motor when you step on the throttle. So once I saw that, I said, okay, these carbs got to come out anyway, which I kind of suspected was going to need to happen anyway. So I went ahead and pulled those, and I've got them over here on my workbench. And so, yeah, I did pull that one apart already, and the squirter itself, which is this little thing right here, was clogged. So pulled it out, sprayed some carburetor cleaner for it. It actually cleared out easier than I thought. I guess I'm thinking these carburetors might have had some fuel like evaporate in them at some point, maybe, and so that's probably just had like gummy old fuel in it was enough to block it so that it wasn't working. But yeah, so anyway, solved that pretty quick, but I still want to go through these carburetors, completely disassemble them, clean them out inside and outside, and then I think they're gonna work amazing. Probably go ahead and put rebuild kits in them, because I'm suspecting that the diaphragms for the accelerator pumps are probably old and crispy. We'll see when we take them apart. If they still feel really nice and supple, then I may just leave them, but I'm going to go ahead and pull these apart and, again, clear them all out, carburetor cleaner and stuff like that, and I think it's going to run amazing after that. The other issue that I found, which definitely was not helping them, was that, let's see, where is it? There it is. So this was the cover over this vacuum port on one, and it was definitely not plugging the vacuum port. You can see the split goes all the way to the end there. And on the other carburetor, there was no plug. So that one probably had like disintegrated and fallen off completely. So those massive vacuum leaks were definitely also not helping this thing to run very well. So pretty sure as soon as I go and square these carburetors away, this thing is gonna run amazing. I will, however, also check the ignition system out, and I think he wanted me to go ahead and do like an oil change, so I'll do that, adjust the valves, all those like basic tune-up things. I think it's gonna run really good. So once I get it running, then I am also, he's also asking me to kind of go through like the brake system and stuff, make sure that everything's working well, that there's no leaky elements in the brake system. So pretty much do those things. He said he thinks there's some oil leaks in the engine. Usually there's not a lot you can do to address those, depending on where they're coming from, short of like pretty major work. So I'm not sure I will be doing anything about that, but I'll try and figure out where any oil leaks are coming from. And other than that, I mean, the car is definitely got a cool look to it. It's kind of ratty, and I kind of like that about it. I like the stance of it. He's got it kind of lowered, and he's got pretty wide tires on the front and back. And I think he was talking about maybe even like trying to autocross this car like I do with my Red 55. So that'd be fun. It seems like it's kind of got the right stance for it and stuff like that. And yeah, it would be a hoot for sure, especially when we get it running better. And then, over time, of course, he can make improvements to suspension and handling and probably power, because I believe this is just a 1500 single port in here, I think is what this came with. So not very highly powered, but Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this little guy. So yeah, stay tuned and watch me get this thing running good again here, hopefully. And so I think for today, that is it, everyone. Thank you guys very much for watching. I will be in, as I mentioned earlier, for part of a day tomorrow. So yeah, please tune in for that. So thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon. Bye.